You ever been through something that broke you so bad you thought you'd never stand again? That moment when you sit in the dark, questioning everything, your worth, your purpose, your reason to keep going. We've all been there. Pain has a way of humbling even the strongest among us. It strips away comfort, pride, and certainty. But listen to me. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. Pain is the fire that forges your strength. The truth is, every champion you admire was once broken by something. But instead of letting pain define them, they used it to refine them. They didn't just survive it. They transformed it into something greater. That's what this message is about, turning your pain into power. Pain is a messenger, not a punishment. But most people don't want to hear what it has to say. The moment it knocks on the door, we hide, we run, we numb it with distractions, scrolling through screens, chasing noise, pretending it doesn't exist. But pain is patient. It will wait for you. It will find you again because it has a message you need to hear. It doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to wake you up. Maybe it's telling you it's time to grow. Maybe it's reminding you that comfort is slowly killing your potential. Maybe it's whispering that you've stayed in the same place for too long. Think about it. A seed buried underground must crack open before it becomes a tree. That breaking, that pain, is the start of something greater. The caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly because it wishes for wings. It has to fight its way out of the cocoon, break itself apart, and endure that struggle to be reborn. Without the pain of transformation, there is no beauty of flight. And that's the truth about growth. It's never pretty while it's happening. See, pain doesn't come to end you. It comes to evolve you. It's the universe's way of saying, you're built for more than this. But when life hits hard, we often ask the wrong question. We say, why me? When we should be asking, what is this teaching me? Because the moment you change your question, you change your direction. When you ask, why? You stay stuck in the story. But when you ask, what? You start writing a new one. You don't learn resilience when things are easy. You don't find strength in peace and comfort. Strength comes when your back's against the wall, when you've cried your last tear, when you've got nothing left but the will to rise. That's when you meet the real you. The version that doesn't quit, doesn't fold, doesn't break. Hey, that's the voice pain is trying to introduce you to. Think about the people who made history. They weren't chosen because life was gentle with them. They were chosen because life was hard on them, and they didn't let that stop them. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. Every day could have been an excuse to quit. But instead of breaking him, pain became his teacher. It taught him patience, humility, and purpose. And when he walked free, he wasn't bitter, he was better. Maybe your pain isn't as public. Maybe it's private, heartbreak, failure, loss, disappointment. But no matter what form it takes, it's still trying to guide you somewhere. Pain doesn't visit without reason. It shows up when something in your life needs attention, correction, or transformation. When a muscle grows, it tears a little. That's the only way it gets stronger. Your spirit works the same way. The truth is, most people let pain write the ending to their story. They stop chasing dreams because something hurt them once. They give up on love because someone broke their heart. They stop trusting because the world disappointed them. But pain was never meant to close your story. It was meant to open a new chapter. It was meant to make you wiser, tougher, sharper. I remember hearing about a woman who lost her job after 20 years. She thought her life was over. She cried, she blamed, she felt worthless. But a year later, she started a small bakery out of her kitchen. Something she'd always dreamed about, but never had the courage to do. Today, she employs people, serves her community, and says, losing that job was the best thing that ever happened to me. You see, pain redirected her to purpose. What she thought was punishment was really preparation. Pain doesn't come to ruin you. It comes to refine you. Like gold in fire, you're melted so that the impurities can rise to the surface and be burned away. The heat is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. You can't shine without it. You can't carry the crown without first carrying the cross. That's the deal. Greatness doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in struggle. So when life starts getting heavy, don't rush to escape it. Sit with it. Listen to it. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me about who I am? What is it showing me about what I need to change? Because pain is the mirror that reflects your true self. It reveals what you really believe, what you're willing to fight for, and what you're still afraid to face. And here's the beautiful thing. Once you learn the lesson pain came to teach, it no longer controls you. It becomes fuel, it becomes focus, it becomes power. You start moving differently. You stop chasing things that don't serve you. You walk with a quiet strength because you've been tested and you didn't fall apart. There's a line that says, the wound is where the light enters you. Think about that. The same place where you were broken is where the light shines through. Pain opens you up. It breaks the shell of pride, of ego, of fear, so something deeper can grow inside you. Maybe that something is compassion. Maybe it's discipline. Maybe it's clarity. But whatever it is, it's stronger than what was there before. I know some of you are carrying pain right now. The kind that keeps you up at night, the kind that nobody else sees. You feel forgotten, like your effort doesn't matter, like the world keeps taking more than it gives. But I promise you, this pain has a purpose. You're being shaped. You're being stretched. You're being prepared for something greater than you can see right now. One day you'll look back and realize that what broke you also built you. What hurt you also healed you. What you thought was the end was really the beginning. Because pain isn't here to punish you. It's here to prepare you for power. So don't run from it. Face it. Feel it. Learn from it. And when you rise from it, and you will rise, you'll understand that pain wasn't your enemy after all. It was your greatest teacher, your hidden strength, your silent guide. Because pain doesn't show up to take from you. It shows up to give you something the easy days never could. The courage to fight, the strength to endure, and the wisdom to turn every wound into power. Every scar has a story. Every tear carries a lesson. And every battle you've survived has shaped you into the person you are right now. You may not realize it yet, but your struggles are not signs of weakness. They're proof that you've been fighting for something. They're the fingerprints of your strength. The most powerful people you'll ever meet are not the ones who've had it easy. They're the ones who've been through the fire and refused to burn. They're the ones who've tasted failure, faced rejection, been told no more times than they can count, and still chose to keep going. Because struggle doesn't destroy strong people, it creates them. Look at Oprah Winfrey, fired from her first TV job, told she didn't have the face or voice for television. Imagine hearing that after pouring your heart into a dream, that you're not good enough. Most people would have quit right there, but not her. She took that rejection, turned it into fuel, and built something the world couldn't ignore. She didn't just prove them wrong, she proved herself right. That's what strength looks like, turning pain into purpose and failure into fire. And then there's Nelson Mandela, 27 years behind bars, 27 years of isolation, injustice, and silence. The world forgot him. But he didn't forget who he was. He could have come out angry. He could have led with revenge. But he didn't. He came out with peace, with forgiveness, with vision. He understood that his struggle wasn't meant to make him bitter. It was meant to make him better. His pain shaped his purpose, and his purpose changed a nation. That's the thing about struggle. It molds you into something stronger, something wiser, something more real. Every challenge you face is like a weight in the gym for your soul. The more you lift, the more you grow. When life puts pressure on you, it's not trying to crush you, it's trying to strengthen your foundation. Think about how steel is made. It starts as raw iron, fragile, full of impurities. But when it's placed in the furnace and heated at 1,000 degrees, it melts, it bends, it reshapes. That heat, that pressure, that fire, that's what makes it unbreakable. You are no different. The fire you're in right now is not your end, it's your forging. Maybe you've lost your job, your home, or someone you love. Maybe you're standing at the edge of your dreams, wondering if it's even worth it anymore. I get it. Struggle hurts. It shakes your confidence, makes you question your worth, makes you want to give up. But if you're still here, still breathing, still trying, that means the story isn't over yet. What's breaking you today might just be the very thing building you for tomorrow. There's a saying that goes, smooth seas never made a skilled sailor. You don't learn to navigate storms by sailing in calm waters. You learn by being tossed around, by facing the wind, by fighting through the waves until you realize you're stronger than the storm. You've got to trust that the hardship you're facing isn't a punishment. It's preparation. Think about athletes. They don't get stronger by lifting light weights. They push against resistance. They run until their legs burn, until their lungs scream for air. Why? Because they know that on the other side of that pain is growth. Life works the same way. Every hardship, every heartbreak, every setback, it's resistance training for your soul. It's preparing you for the blessings that come after the storm. And let's be real, nobody escapes struggle. Not one of us. Some people just hide it better than others. Behind every smile, behind every success story, there's a fight you don't see. The sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the tears nobody talks about. Strength isn't built in public, it's built in private when no one's watching, when you're fighting battles nobody knows about. When you go through pain, you start to understand people differently. You see life differently. You stop judging others because you know what it feels like to fall apart and rebuild yourself. That's why some of the kindest souls come from the darkest places, because struggle teaches empathy. It teaches gratitude. It teaches humility. I once heard about a man who lost everything, his business, his marriage, his confidence. He said he used to look at failure as the end of the road, but after losing it all, he realized something. He was still breathing, and as long as he had breath, he had a chance to rebuild. He started again, slower this time, wiser this time. And years later, when people asked how he became so successful, he said, failure gave me my foundation. My struggles gave me strength. See, that's the mindset you need. You can't let pain convince you that you're done. You can't let struggle convince you that you're weak. Every time you get knocked down and stand back up, you become a little tougher. Every time you face rejection and keep believing, you become a little stronger. Every time you lose something and still choose gratitude, you become unstoppable. So don't curse the struggle. Thank it. Because without it, you wouldn't grow. Without it, you wouldn't discover what you're capable of. Life's not trying to break you, it's trying to reveal you. Every trial is shaping a version of you that can handle the blessings you've been praying for. When you look back years from now, you'll realize that the things you thought would destroy you were actually preparing you. The heartbreak taught you self-worth. The loss taught you resilience. The failure taught you perseverance. The pain taught you purpose. Your struggles are shaping your strength right now, even if you can't see it. And one day, someone will look at you and think, they've got it all together. But only you will know the storms you walked through, the nights you cried alone, the moments you almost gave up but didn't. And that's your real power. Not that you never struggled, but that you never surrendered. So when life gets heavy and the world feels unfair, remember this: you're not being buried, You're being planted. And when the time is right, when your roots are deep enough, you'll rise taller, stronger, wise, unshakable. Because your struggles didn't break you, they built you. Pain is a part of life. Nobody escapes it. But suffering, that's a choice. It's what you decide to do with the pain that defines you. Life will hurt you, that's guaranteed. You'll lose people, you'll lose opportunities, you'll lose moments you thought you could never live without. But the question is, will you let it harden you or will you let it grow you? Pain can make you bitter or it can make you better. The choice is yours. There's a man I once met who taught me that lesson in a way I'll never forget. He had lost his leg in a terrible accident. For years, he lived in anger. He blamed the world, cursed his luck, shut himself off from everything and everyone. He kept asking, why me? Why did this have to happen to me? And as long as he asked that question, he stayed stuck in his pain. But one day something changed. He said he woke up, looked in the mirror, and decided he was done being a victim. He was done letting life dictate his spirit. That day, he stopped asking, why me? And started saying, try me. That small shift in his mindset changed everything. He started training, pushing himself, and eventually ran marathons on a prosthetic leg. The same pain that once paralyzed him became the power that moved him. That's what it means to not waste your wounds. We all have scars, some visible, some buried deep inside. But those scars are not meant to be hidden. They're reminders of what you've survived. They're proof that you're still standing. Don't waste that. Don't waste the pain that taught you how to stand again. Use it. Use it to inspire, to lead, to light the path for someone else who's still in the dark. Because sometimes your healing is the hope someone else needs to keep fighting. We often think healing means forgetting the pain, but that's not true. Healing means facing it, learning from it, and then using it. The most powerful people in the world didn't escape pain. They transformed it. Think about it. Every great story, every great victory started with some kind of struggle. The pain becomes the beginning of something greater if you let it. There's a young woman I once heard about who battled addiction for years. She lost friends, family, opportunities, everything. But one day she decided she was done being a victim of her past. She got clean, rebuilt her life, and today she runs a recovery center helping others do the same. She said, I wasted enough years on pain. I won't waste my healing too. That line stuck with me because how many of us are wasting our wounds? How many of us are letting pain define us instead of refine us? See, pain doesn't disappear just because you ignore it. You can bury it, you can hide from it, but it'll still be there, shaping you in ways you don't realize. The only way to truly overcome it is to face it, learn from it, and turn it into something meaningful. Because if you don't, that wound becomes poison. It festers, it spreads into your thoughts, your relationships, your dreams. But if you confront it, if you decide, this won't break me, this will build me, then pain becomes your greatest teacher. There's a story I love about a broken clay pot. It had a crack along its side and used to feel ashamed because it leaked water every day. One day, the pot said to its owner, I'm sorry, I'm not perfect. I can't hold all the water like the others. The owner smiled and said, you don't understand. I planted seeds along the path where you leak. Every day your cracks water those seeds. Look behind you. The flowers you see are there because of your flaw. That story reminds us, even our brokenness has purpose. Even our wounds can bring life if we use them right. Don't waste your wounds by living in regret. Don't waste your wounds by replaying what happened, what they said, what you lost. That's how you stay stuck. The power is in taking what hurt you and using it to help someone else heal. You don't have to be perfect to inspire others. You just have to be honest about where you've been and what you've overcome. Your testimony can become someone else's survival guide. Think about someone who's struggling right now, maybe with grief, maybe with failure, maybe with self-doubt. You've been there before. You know what that darkness feels like. If you can reach out and tell them, I made it through and you can too, you're not just helping them, you're giving your pain meaning. You're showing that wounds don't have to end stories, they can start new ones. The truth is, the people who inspire us the most are not the ones who never fell. They're the ones who fell hard and got back up anyway. They carry their scars like medals, not because they're proud of the pain, but because they're proud of the fight. Every time you rise, every time you forgive, every time you try again, you're honoring that fight. You're proving that your wounds were not wasted. I remember reading about a soldier who came home from war missing both legs. Reporters asked him how he stays so positive. He said, I may have lost my legs, but I didn't lose my purpose. I still have breath in my lungs, and as long as I'm alive, I'll keep moving forward. That's power. That's courage. That's choosing to turn pain into purpose. We all get wounded in life. By betrayal, by loss, by failure, by time. But we can't let those wounds define who we are. The world doesn't need more people hiding their pain. It needs more people who use it to build bridges, to tell the truth, to love harder, to forgive faster. Because when you stop wasting your wounds, you stop living in the past and start leading from it. Every wound carries wisdom. Every scar carries strength. Every pain has the potential to become purpose if you let it. The question is, will you? Will you take what hurt you and turn it into hope? Will you turn your scars into stories that remind others they can heal too? That's the challenge. Because in the end, the pain you survived wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to awaken something powerful inside you, a resilience that can't be taught, only earned. So don't hide your wounds. Don't bury your story. Wear your scars with pride, not because of what happened to you, but because of what you did with it. You're proof that healing is possible, that growth is real, and that pain can be transformed into power if you refuse to waste it. When everything around you falls apart, when the world stops making sense, and when all your plans crumble right before your eyes, faith is the only thing that keeps you standing. Faith is that quiet whisper in the middle of chaos that says, hold on, this storm won't last forever. You might not see the bigger picture right now. You might be wondering why things happened the way they did. But faith reminds you that even when you can't trace the plan, you can still trust the purpose. Sometimes life doesn't break you because you're weak. It breaks you because it's trying to rebuild you stronger. Faith is the glue that holds the pieces of your life together when everything feels shattered. It's what keeps your heart beating when your spirit feels tired. It's what makes you get up one more time after you've fallen again and again. Faith doesn't remove the pain, it transforms it. It gives meaning to what you're going through. There's an old story about a blacksmith who takes a piece of raw metal and puts it into the fire. Over and over again, he heats it, hammers it, shapes it, and returns it to the flames. If that metal could speak, it would scream from the heat and the blows. It would ask, why are you doing this to me? But the blacksmith knows something the metal doesn't. He's not trying to destroy it. He's shaping it into something stronger, sharper, more valuable. And when the process is done, what comes out of the fire isn't just metal anymore. It's a sword ready for battle. That's what faith does in your life. It helps you see that the fire you're in is not meant to burn you, it's meant to build you. It's preparing you for what's ahead. The pain you're feeling now is not pointless, it's purposeful. There's a reason for the fire, even if you can't see it yet. Because sometimes the only way to create strength is through heat. The only way to find clarity is through pressure. The only way to discover faith is through struggle. Think about it. When everything's going right, it's easy to say you have faith. But real faith is tested when everything goes wrong, when the doors close, when the people you trusted walk away, when the world goes silent. That's when faith becomes real. Because faith isn't believing when you see, it's believing even when you don't. It's trusting that the pain is preparing you for something greater. There's a woman I once met who lost her husband unexpectedly. Her whole world collapsed overnight. For months, she could barely breathe. She told me there were days she screamed at the sky, asking, "Why me?" But somewhere in that pain, she started praying again, not for answers, but for strength. And over time, she said something beautiful happened. Her faith grew deeper than her fear. She started volunteering, helping other widows heal. Her pain became her purpose. She said, "I thought my life ended that day, but faith helped me start living again." That's the power of faith. It doesn't erase the fire, it helps you rise from it. Every person who's ever achieved something great has walked through seasons of doubt, darkness, and pain. They didn't come out of those seasons with bitterness. They came out with belief. They learned that faith doesn't promise an easy life, it promises a meaningful one. You see, faith is not about having everything figured out. It's about trusting that every step, even the painful ones, is leading you somewhere good. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You water it, you protect it, and you trust the process. That's what faith is like. It's knowing that even when you can't see growth, something is happening beneath the surface. The darkness you're in might just be the soil where your destiny is taking root. There will be moments in life where faith is the only thing that makes sense. When the doctor says there's nothing more they can do. When the bills pile up and you don't know how you'll make it. When the door you prayed for closes in your face. Those are the moments when faith whispers, "Not yet. I'm still working." Faith teaches you patience when you want control. It teaches you peace when you want answers. It teaches you strength when you want to quit. It's easy to give up when you can't see the way forward. It's easy to let fear take over when the pain feels endless. But faith reminds you that the story isn't finished yet. Just because you're in the middle of the fire doesn't mean the fire gets to win. Sometimes you just have to keep walking, not because you understand where it's leading, but because you trust who's leading you. There's a saying, a diamond is just a piece of coal that handled pressure well. That's faith. It's believing that the pressure you're under is shaping something precious inside you. It's believing that the delays, the disappointments, the detours, they're not destroying you, they're developing you. Faith turns pain into progress and progress into power. I once heard a man say, "Faith gave me peace before I ever saw the promise." That line hit me because that's what real faith does. It gives you calm in the chaos. It doesn't wait for the miracle to show up. It believes the miracle is already on the way. When you live with that kind of faith, you stop panicking every time life gets hard. You stop questioning every trial. You stop begging for clarity and start walking with confidence. Maybe right now you feel like your whole world is falling apart. You're tired, you're frustrated, and you're wondering if you'll ever catch a break. But hear this, you are not forgotten, you are not abandoned, you are not broken beyond repair. You are being molded, shaped, and strengthened for something greater. You might be in the fire, but faith will carry you through it. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize that everything you thought was working against you was actually working for you. Every delay was protection. Every heartbreak was redirection. Every loss was preparation. That's the miracle of faith. It turns pain into power, ashes into beauty, trials into triumphs. So hold on to faith when it's hardest to believe. Trust the process when you can't see the purpose. And remember this, your future self will thank you for not giving up in the fire. Because the fire you're in today is shaping the strength you'll need tomorrow. Faith will take that pain and turn it into power. It always does. Once you've faced pain and learned from it, you come to a crossroads, the moment where you decide what that pain will mean. You can let it define you, or you can let it refine you. You can bury it deep, pretending it never happened, or you can take it, shape it, and use it to make an impact. Because the truth is, the most powerful transformation doesn't come from comfort. It comes from struggle. It comes from standing in the middle of your own brokenness and saying, this will not be the end of me. I'm gonna turn this into something greater. Pain has a strange way of showing us who we really are. It strips away the layers we hide behind, the masks, the pride, the excuses, and reveals what's underneath. And when you choose to rise from it, not just for yourself, but to help others, that's when pain turns into purpose. That's when scars become stories and wounds become wisdom. Think about J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a name known in every home, she was broke, divorced, and living in a tiny apartment with a baby to feed. She was fighting depression, rejection, and the voice in her head telling her she'd never make it. But instead of letting that pain consume her, she poured it into her writing. Every ounce of loneliness, every moment of fear, every flicker of hope found its way onto those pages. And what happened? That pain became purpose. That purpose built a world that changed millions of lives. She didn't just create a story, she created connection. She turned her pain into something that helped people believe in magic again, in hope again, in possibility again. And that's the choice each of us has. Your pain might not look like hers, but the principle is the same. Maybe you lost someone you loved. Maybe you were betrayed by someone you trusted. Maybe you failed at something that meant the world to you. Whatever it is, it's trying to teach you something. It's trying to give birth to something new inside you. Because sometimes the thing that hurts you most is the very thing you were called to heal in others. There's a man I once met who had spent years battling addiction. He lost his job, his family, his dignity, everything. But when he finally found his way out of that darkness, he made a promise. If I can get out, I'll help others find their way too. Today he runs a recovery center. Every day, he sits across from people who are where he once was. And when they say, you don't understand, he looks them in the eye and says, yes, I do. See, that's purpose. That's redemption. He didn't just escape the fire. He went back to pull others out. That's the beauty of turning pain into purpose. It doesn't just heal you, it heals others through you. It takes what was once your weakness and transforms it into your greatest strength. Every time you share your story, you give someone else permission to believe that healing is possible. Every time you lead with empathy, you remind someone that they're not alone. Every time you turn your past into power, you light the path for someone still walking through the dark. But let's be honest, transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's messy. It's hard, it's uncomfortable. Sometimes you'll feel like you're walking barefoot through broken glass. But the difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck is simple: the choice. You have to choose not to waste your pain. You have to choose to find meaning in it. Because pain without purpose is just suffering. But pain with purpose, that's fuel. That's what builds leaders, dreamers, healers, and visionaries. Look at the people who've changed the world. Most of them didn't come from perfect lives. They came from broken places. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years behind bars, yet his pain birthed forgiveness and freedom for an entire nation. Oprah Winfrey was abused and abandoned as a child, yet her pain became her platform to speak truth, to empower, to uplift millions. These are not stories of people who avoided pain. These are stories of people who used pain. They looked at their wounds and said, I'll make this count. And maybe that's what you're being called to do. Maybe your heartbreak isn't the end of your story. Maybe it's the beginning of someone else's healing. Maybe your failure wasn't meant to shame you. Maybe it was meant to shape you into someone wiser, stronger, more compassionate. Maybe your setback is setting you up to serve someone else who's about to face the same storm. You don't have to be famous to make an impact. You don't need a stage or a spotlight. Sometimes purpose looks like comforting a friend who's going through what you went through. Sometimes it's mentoring a young person who reminds you of your younger self. Sometimes it's just showing up every day, doing your best, and proving that pain doesn't get the final word. When you transform your pain into purpose, you become a mirror for others. You show them what resilience looks like. You show them that broken doesn't mean defeated. You show them that there's power in survival, grace in endurance, beauty in scars. The world doesn't need perfect people. It needs real people. People who've been through the fire and came out carrying light. So don't bury your pain. Don't hide it like it's something to be ashamed of. Build from it, speak from it, lead from it. Because your story has value, your struggle has meaning. There's someone out there waiting to hear how you made it through. Because it'll give them hope that they can too. You might think your story is too small or too broken to matter, but remember this, gold only becomes pure after it's been refined in the fire. Diamonds only shine after they've been pressed under extreme pressure. And purpose only reveals itself through pain. So when you look back on what hurt you, don't just see the wound, see the wisdom. Don't just remember the tears, remember the strength that grew from them. Let your past fuel your future. Let your scars be your message. Let your story remind the world that redemption is real, that growth is possible, and that every broken piece can become part of something beautiful. Because in the end, the greatest victory is not that you survived the pain. It's that you turned it into purpose. And in doing so, gave others permission to rise too.